Ha! Hello trainers, Professor Palm here, and welcome back to the Meadow of March. So far for the Meadow of March, we've talked on so many things. With Sunkern and Sunflora, we talked on seeds and flowers, and then with Shroomish and Breloom, we talked on fungi. So I was thinking about changing it up. Instead of talking on flowers or even mushrooms, let's talk about something very important that comes as well as grows in the grass. And I'm of course talking about fruit. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about berries since we're talking about fruit. I really do love berries. Well, I'm kind of curious to know from all of you trainers, do you like berries? Do you like planting them in the ground? Do you like collecting them? Do you like watering them so they become more berries? And do you use them on your Pokemon? Do you eat any? Or do you like to use them for the curry? Or are they just mainly there for you to show off? As for me, I love berries! I love them so much! In fact, I'm a berry hunter. When I see a berry, I grab as many of them as I can. I also always use them for my curry because they taste so good. Ugh, I just want some berries right now. Berries! Sorry, when talking about berries, I can't resist but eat them. They're some of my favorites, and Oh! Oh my goodness! I almost ate a Cherubi! Oh my goodness, my poor little Cherubi. Wow, I guess I was so distracted on eating berries I almost ate a Pokemon. Well, to be honest, the Cherubi line really is a perfect line to talk about today since we're going to be talking all about fruits. But not just little Cherubi. Cherubi also evolves into another Pokemon, being Cherrim. But as you know, this is only one form of Cherrim. Cherrim turns into one other form. Usually, this is the one we see. The only time it can turn into this one is when you add sunlight and it blossoms into Sunshine Cherrim. I gotta say, there's so much we could talk on with this line. Something I know for a fact is I really love how we have a Pokemon based on fruit turning into a cherry blossom, one of my favorite flowers of all time. Oh, and I gotta say, I think it's pretty fun that we can see that it has forms, because this is the first Pokemon line that had different forms, not different evolutions. So if you think that you evolved your Cherubi into the wrong version, don't worry, it's just forms, and it changes under sunlight. Harsh sunlight, it can't just be daytime. Oh, and something I should say is, I know this line is great because it took me so many places when I played with them in the Sinno region. So let's talk all about these fruits and flowers. But before we do that, Techronova, I want to give you a huge thanks for today's shirt. If you're a fan of the Turtwig line, this one is called the Grass Turtle Within. Check out Techronova on Etsy. That's where I buy my shirts. I'm going to put a link to her Etsy page in the description below. So check her out. Maybe buy yourself a shirt. I may not be sponsored, but of course I want to give her a huge thanks for this amazing shirt that I'm wearing. Also, if you're not a fan of the Turtwig line, there are plenty other Pokemon lines that she's designed. So, probably one of your favorite starter line, or maybe even another Pokemon line that you love is on her page. Also, since we're talking about grass-type Pokemon from the Sinnoh region, I couldn't think of a better Pokemon than my buddy, Turtwig. It was my starter in the Sinnoh region, and I hope for many of you, it was your starter as well. I guess today we're gonna go cherry picking. I guess it's the best way to make it up to Cherubi since I almost ate it. Ugh, that was terrible of me. But I think we're gonna learn all about cherry blossoms and cherries today, and where else better to start than the little red cherry itself? Cherubi! Cherubi, the cherry Pokemon, is based on the fruit cherries. The reason why Cherubi has a twin is cherries are known to grow multiple fruiting heads, but most of the time, cherries come in pairs. For its habitat, Cherubi is just like real cherries as it lives in trees. Also, Cherubi likes sweet-smelling places like meadows or even honey trees in the Sinnoh region. Being based off a sweet fruit, Cherubi also has a very sweet attitude to go with it. But if we're going to talk about sweets, Cherubi does have a sweet tooth, and it really loves eating sweet berries and of course the greatest sweetness of all, honey. Cherubi start off as pink, green, or purple. Yeah, The red of them is not natural. You see, because Cherubi spends so much time in the sunlight has given it its red coloring. I guess you could make a joke that Cherubi's been given a sunburn, but the deeper that Cherubi's red is, the more nutrients it's absorbed from the sun into its body, and also the healthier it will be. Being a sweet cherry can sometimes be a curse to Cherubi, as it has a lot of predators after it. It's prey to both bug Pokemon and bird Pokemon, so Cherubi is oftentimes hightailing it to get away from them. Thankfully, since it's a very small cherry Pokemon, it's very nimble and can get places quickly and climb up trees very fast. While Cherubi is divided into two parts, the big ball and the small ball Cherubi holds all the nutrients needed for evolution. It's also very sweet and tasty if you were to bite into it. Cherubi have many enemies, but in the Sinno region, Starly is its main enemy, as these Pokemon try to peck them off and eat these little balls of nutrition. After all, some Starly have a sweet tooth just like Cherubi. The small ball Cherubi can never catch a break, as it's spawned by bird and bug Pokemon. Oh, and even if it manages to survive, the small ball will be drained of its nutrients and it shrivels up to fall off just so the big Cherubi can evolve. Wow, that's really sad for such a small cherry. Thankfully, Cherubi only has one mind and it belongs to the big one. The small one never feels any pain, nor does it know what's going on. So yeah, everything that eats the little cherry, when it gets absorbed of all the nutrients and when it shrivels up, doesn't affect it whatsoever. That's supposed to happen. However, this does beg a question. If only one head has a brain and the other doesn't, why does Cherubi have two heads in the first place? Cherubi made its anime debut in the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl series episode, The Grass Type is Always Greener. It was under the ownership of Gym Leader Gardenia. In this episode, Gardenia's Cherubi took on Ash's Turtwig in a practice battle. It ended in a draw. However, Cherubi did reappear for Ash's battle against Gardenia. In Ash Ketchum's official gym battle at Eterna City Gym, he used his Staravia to take on her Cherubi. Unfortunately, because Staravia was a flying type, Cherubi lost very quickly to it. In the core series games, Cherubi has the ability Chlorophyll, which boosts its speed stat under the harsh sunlight. Also, unlike a lot of other Pokemon that we've covered, Cherubi is one of the few Pokemon that does not have a hidden ability introduced in Generation 5. And in Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl, Cherubi is the first Pokemon that Gardenia sends out during her first gym battle, making it the frontrunner of her team. You know what's magnificent about cherries? Sometimes when they're stuck on a tree for a while, they don't rot. Instead, they blossom. And Cherubi does the exact same thing when it evolves. It's such a sweet cherry, but it becomes even sweeter as soon as it evolves by blossoming into Cherrim. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that Cherrim isn't just one Pokemon, it's two Pokemon. Actually, it's one Pokemon, but with different forms that all depend on the weather. I guess we're gonna learn all about what makes these flowers so magnificent. So let's evolve our little Cherubi into Cherrim, the beautiful flower. Whether it's blossoming or it's hiding, it's a flower that you never want to look away from. Cherrim the Blossom Pokemon is based on cherry blossoms. It's a single Pokemon that has two forms, being the Sunshine form and the Overcast form. Just like how cherry blossoms open and close depending if there's enough sunlight or not. If you remember the Weather Pokemon Cast form that changes its appearance due to the weather, Cherrim is a very distant cousin, as it does the exact same thing depending on the weather of what its appearance will look like. Oftentimes, some people forget that it has a Sunshine form and an Overcast form. So yeah, don't feel surprised if you see this Pokemon and think it's two different Pokemon. That's happened to a lot of trainers out there. Seeing flowers bloom as well as close up depending on the time of the day is always an interesting thing to look at. So yeah, I'm glad that Pokemon added this in, but it's kind of funny that we have one Pokemon with two different forms. Well, I guess maybe we should start off nice and sunny and have a happy day, and we'll start off first with the Sunshine form of Cherrim. Ooh, that is bright. Yep, summer is coming and spring has just come. So yeah, we need the sunshine so Cherrim can be in its Sunshine form. But when Cherrim takes this form, its petals fully open. It also becomes full of energy like this. Oh, and this Pokemon does so much that its liveliness will go on until the sundown. As a cherry blossom, Cherrim emits a scent at full blossom from all of its petals everywhere it comes. This attracts a lot of people and Pokemon towards it. Unfortunately, this strong scent also attracts a lot of bug-type Pokemon, which are Cherrim's main enemy. The aroma emitted by Cherrim is so fresh, it makes the flowers, trees, and even the berries sweeter. Lots of grass-type Pokemon really love being around a Cherrim because of this fresh scent. It's even said that some Cherrim help make flowers for wedding bouquets and other special events because of how sweet the scent is. Cherrim in its sunshine form really loves to sing and dance, especially in places where there's lots of trees and flowers. Because of its petals opened up looking like a pair of wings, Cherrim has been dubbed by a few people as the Garden Fairy. Cherrim absorbs the sun rays with its whole body in order to make up for everything it endured when it was a bud in Overcast form. Yep, Cherrim loved the sun so much that these Pokemon fear the dark. You will never find them in caves, and if you walk into one with them, they will really not be happy about it as they have to go back into their Overcast form. As happy-go-lucky Cherrim is in the sunshine form, let's see what happens when we get rid of the light. Whoa! Major difference when you get rid of the sun. Cherrim just folds itself back up and turns into a bud. Pretty crazy to think that this is what happens when you take away just a little sunshine away. That's insane! To me, Overcast Cherrim is the true form of Cherrim, but for many reasons. While a lot of people really do love Sunshine form Cherrim, if you think very carefully, the images as well as the Pokedex, oh, and even when this Pokemon evolves and when we send it out and into battle, we always see it in its Overcast form. So to me, because it's always an Overcast form before it becomes Sunshine form, this makes Overcast form, in my opinion, the true version of what Cherrim is. In Overcast form, Cherrim is docile, and as a bud, it barely moves. It just sits there and waits patiently for the sunshine to return so it can change its forms into the happy-go-lucky Pokemon it wishes to be. Cherrim's folded petals are quite tough, as bird Pokemon can peck at them all they want, and Cherrim won't be bothered and won't feel a thing. In Cherrim's Overcast form, it releases a wonderful aroma from its purple petals. They attract lots of people and Pokemon alike. Bug Pokemon are most attracted by the scent, but because of how tough Cherrim's petals are, it doesn't mind at all. Also, the aroma is so strong, it has the power to bring back to life wilted flowers. Cherrim made its anime debut in the Diamond and Pearl Battle Dimension episode, battling the Generation Gap. It was under the ownership of a famous Pokemon stylist named Leela. Also in this episode, Cherrim performed on stage at the Celestic contest after Leela decided that she wanted to be a contest contestant again, as she remembered her days as a coordinator. In the Core Series games, Cherrim is the second in command of Gym Leader Gardenia's team the first time you battle her in Pokemon Platinum. Also, her Cherrim does not have the move Sunny Day, so it never changes from its Overcast form. However, in post-game of Platinum, if you battle Gardenia for a rematch at the Battlegrounds, she will have her Cherrim again on her team. However, this time it has the move Sunny Day, as do many of her Pokemon. So, if you wanted to battle her Cherrim while it was in Sunshine mode, well, here's your chance! As of Generation 8, as soon as Cherubi evolves into Cherrim, it learns the move Sunny Day right off the bat, which really helps, as back then, you needed the move tutor to help Cherrim learn the move, or you had to give it the TM Sunny Day in order for it to change its forms during battle. Cherrim has the signature ability being Flower Gift. This boosts the attack and special defense of itself and all of its allies under a harsh sunlight. This turns Cherrim into a powerhouse. And just like with its previous evolution in Cherubi, Cherrim did not gain the hidden ability like many other Pokemon did in Generation 5, so it only has an ability. If you're going to battle with Cherubi and Cherrim, they're grass-type Pokemon. They have some strengths, but they have a lot of weaknesses, and it's best that you don't use them against Pokemon that have the moves that are Flying-type, Bug-type, Fire-type, Ice-type, and poison type. Wow, that's a lot of weaknesses Cherubi and Cherrim have for just being a pure grass type Pokemon. Well, even though they have a lot of weaknesses, they have a couple of strengths. Let's see what these Pokemon are strong against. Being pure grass type, Cherubi and Cherrim have a lot of grass type moves that are super effective against Pokemon that are water type, rock type, and ground type. Well, it may not be as many strengths as they do have weaknesses, but hey, it's always good to use these Pokemon against those, so then you have the advantage in the fight. Cherubi and Cherrim are some of the most interesting Pokemon in my opinion. The reason why is Cherubi is the very first fruit Pokemon. Granted that Tropius came first, but I am going to say it is pretty cool to see that it starts off as a pair of cherries and it turns into a pair of cherry blossoms. I really have never seen any other Pokemon do that. That's a pretty cool thing that these Pokemon can do. You know something that actually would be pretty funny for Cherrim and Cherubi? Since they all have a big cherry on them that has a lot of power, they should have a move called Cherry Bomb, when they throw their little cherries and they become explosions. Yeah, I think that would be a pretty fun signature move, and it makes a lot of sense. After all, these are cherries and cherry blossoms. How can you not think of saying Cherry Bomb? Well, if you choose to use this line effectively, then it's going to give you a lot of sweet victories. Yep, these Pokemon might be cherries, but they are some that you really don't want to mess with. Also, the best thing is, if you're about to take on your opponent and defeat them, you can tell them this as a great pun lined up. Your defeat is the cherry on top. Welcome back, trainers. How was your time cherry picking? Did you learn anything new about this line? Also, I have a couple of questions for all of you trainers. Just like me, are you a berry hunter? Also, what's your favorite berry in the Pokemon world? Out of Cherrim's 2 possible forms it has, which way do you like it better? Do you like it nice in its sunshine form, or do you like it cool in its overcast form? Do you think that there should be another Pokemon fruit line or even a vegetable line? Also, what fruit or veggie should it be based on? And, for the cherry on top, what's your favorite Pokemon that you could encounter in the Sinnoh region when you slathered honey on the bark? I hope that you enjoyed learning everything there was to know on Cherubi and Cherrim. So, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like. If you have any questions, you wish to answer any of the ones I threw it at you, you want me to cover another Pokemon line, or you want me to talk about something else Pokemon related, please comment. I always look at all the comments. And as always, if you like what you saw and you want to see more, smash that subscribe button. I hope that you all enjoyed, and the Meadow of March is coming to an end. We have only one more line to talk about. So, I hope that you all stay tuned, and thanks for watching, trainers. Palm out!